the new ballot was released and all of the new names that will be on the ballot for the first time have been released. And I always find this like it's an honor to be listed on this ballot. Some of the names.
Well, I mean, they say like nominated when you like get nominated for an Academy Award, but you don't win.
Right.
So do you say like Hall of Fame nominated? Is that a thing? Like,
yeah, it is. I remember, I think it was last year. It was either last year or 2 years ago. Nick Swisher was on the ballot. And I remember he tweeted out or put on social media like what an honor it is to be on there. He knows he's not going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
In fact, he's not on it this year because you need 5% of the vote to stay on.
Yep.
But to get on the list it's pretty cool. So a lot of these guys that'll be on the list for the first time, I always find this list interesting, right? So I'm going to read it off because some of these names are funny. Bronson Arroyo, Carlos Beltran, Matt Cain, R.A. Dickey, Jacoby Ellsbury, Andre Ethier, J.J. Hardy, John Lackey, Mike Napoli, Johnny Peralta, Francisco Rodriguez, Houston Street, Jared Weaver, and Jason Worth will all be on the list for the very first time. In fact, only one player that will be on the list for the last time, Jeff Kent. We can talk about him more in a second. But Alex, those are all first-timers that are going to be on here. The strong majority of those will be off after 1 year. But some interesting names for sure.
Will any of them get elected?
Will any of them get elected? I'm going to say, are you saying of these guys?
Of this whole list.
So of the people that are on it for
times.
the first time, will any of them ever get on?
Of the list that we have right now, not just the first timers, but the whole 2023 Hall of Fame class. Because you just read the first time names that just got elected. But the BBWAA did not vote a player in the Hall of Fame 9 times. The most recent one was 2021. So it is possible to have this giant list and no one makes it in. So do you think, looking at this list, do we have like the whole list? Is that a thing? No?
Yeah, we have the whole list.
Yeah. Do you think?
I mean, it's out.
Yeah.
I don't think this year anybody's getting in.
Ooh, that's a hot take. No one's getting in.
Well, here's my thoughts.
Okay.
Jeff Kent, who's an interesting one for me, most home runs ever for a second baseman. It's his last year on the ballot. Okay. But his last year he was at 32.7% of the vote. You need 75% to get in. So he's not going to make it. Scott Rolen becomes an interesting one for me because he's getting towards the end of his time on the ballot, and he's in the 60% range, right? So I would like to see Scott Rolen get in. 63.2% Scott Rolen was at in 2022. I think if Scott Rolen gets in, it'll be in his final year on the ballot. I think he gets up around that 65% range. I don't think he's tracking to get in, though. He's an 8-time Gold Glover. Obviously, we know him for the glove. He was good with the bat. I just don't think he's tracking to get in. I certainly don't think he gets in this year. I do think there are names on the list that, one, will get in, and then I'll give names that should get in that I'm not sure about. But on this list that I just mentioned,
Beltran,
the first year guys,
you would think that would be a no-brainer.
Carlos Beltran,
but
should be in.
But he's a little tarnished from the Astros scandal. How much does that affect, I guess, all the voters and all the writers getting him in?
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But for that, I don't think he gets in the first time around. I think he's a guy that
they make him wait.
And I don't think we know enough about how voters are going to vote. I think a lot of the voters that are inside baseball, we don't need to get into a super long conversation here, but I think anybody that's inside of baseball knows that there was a glaring problem around the game of baseball. But when it came to the Houston Astros specifically in that year of 2017, which, by the way, he came from the Yankees in 2016, comes over to the Astros. This starts there. He's kind of the lead, and he kind of bears the brunt of that despite getting out that next year and then moving on elsewhere. But he was the guy there that a lot of people have talked about him being kind of the ringleader for all of that. So how are the voters going to vote there with Carlos Beltran? I don't know. His numbers certainly say he is a Hall of Famer. Yeah. So, I mean, just 435 homers. I mean, when you think switch hitters,
it's insane.
He's one of the greatest.
9-time All-Star, 3-time
one of the
Gold
greatest
Glover,
of all time.
2-time Silver Slugger, Rookie of the Year in 1999. Like, he's got all the stats.
2,700 hits, 312 stolen bases. The stats are there.
Yeah,
I don't think he gets in the first time. I think voters make him wait. I don't think voters know how other voters are going to vote, which I think people are going to make him wait there. I do think he gets in. Another name on this list that I think gets in, because I saw a lot of people look at this list and say, nobody really jumps out to me. Mm-hmm. You know who does?
Who?
Francisco Rodriguez.
Okay.
K-Rod.
Give it to us.
Very, very underrated here. Francisco Rodriguez is one of the greatest closers of all time, the 4th most saves ever, right? He's behind Mo and Trevor Hoffman being those top 2. He has a better career ERA than Trevor Hoffman. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman had the better career, but you look at K-Rod, he's a 6-time All-Star, 2-time reliever of the year. He holds the single-season save record, which is huge. I think he's the only reliever ever to save more than 60 games in a season. That was his record year. Saved 62 games in 2008. Think about that. 62 saves in a season. You play 162 games. He saved 62 of them. Remarkable. His 6 seasons with 40-plus saves are 3rd most in MLB history, behind Mariano Rivera and Trevor Hoffman, who had 9 each. Top 5 in Cy Young voting 3 times, 6th in MVP in 08. I mean, when you look at the career numbers, K-Rod should get in. He's a big name. I like him a lot. I think he's a no-doubter. I don't think it's the first time. I don't think it's the second time, but I do think he gets in.
So that's your player that you think should get in, but probably won't.
I think Francisco Rodriguez should and will get in.
Oh, okay.
I have other. Who do you have that?
No. Mine's the other side. So you think he should get in?
I think he should get in.
Think
and will get in?
Should get in, but won't.
I have a couple of other names.
Okay.
I grew up a big Atlanta Braves fan.
We know.
I grew up a big Andruw Jones fan.
Ooh.
I wore number 25 in Little League and nope, switched in high school. I wore number 25 all throughout Little League and middle school because of Andruw Jones. Put Andruw Jones in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing? Andruw Jones is a Hall of Famer. Come on. 10-time Gold Glover, 10 consecutive Gold Gloves. 10 consecutive Gold Glove awards from 1998 to 2007. One of only 4 players to have won 10 Gold Gloves with 400 career home runs. Listen to these other names. They're all first ballot Hall of Famers. Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt, King Griffey Jr. What are we doing here? Andruw Jones is a Hall of Famer. When you think defense, when you think the greatest defenders of all time, your brain goes to Andruw Jones, who was clearly one of the greatest defenders of all time. A 24.2 defensive WAR from 1998 to 2007. Was the best of any position player, with future potential Hall of Famer Scott Rolen's 15.1 being second during that span. Think about that. Scott Rolen, 15.1 during that span, the second best. Andruw Jones was 24.2. It's truly remarkable how good defensively Andruw Jones was, and the offensive numbers are no slouch either. 434 home runs, 1,933 hits. The offensive numbers aren't bad enough to take him out of the Hall of Fame for how good he was defensively. There's no doubt in my mind he deserves to be in. It is frustrating that he isn't yet. He's one of 6 players to have reached the benchmarks of 350 or more homers, 100 stolen bases, and 1,500 hits through their age 30 season, joining A-Rod, Griffey, Frank Robinson, Hank Aaron, and Mantle, and Andruw Jones. I'm getting worked up over this more than I even thought I would.
I like it.
Andruw Jones should be in the Hall of Fame. He's my answer. I don't know if he will, but I absolutely think that he should, right?
Yep.
And he's in a category defensively with Scott Rolen, and I think maybe.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.